presented by FindAKidneyDonor.com. The C-section. No longer just the section in Madison Square Gardens where Knicks fans will never see a winner, but also a real-life surgery. Dating back to the early years of human history in one form or another, the cesarean was a last resort to save a baby after a mother had already passed away. It's only in recent medical history that cesarean section surgery, or C-section for short, has become common, safe, and used to save both mother and child. This complicated procedure requires a trained surgeon with plenty of student debt, a sterile operating room, and several assistants as they cut through layers of flesh, tissue, muscles, and other things I can't pronounce. Every slice of the surgical blade requires taking special care not to damage surrounding organs, or the baby. That is unless, of course, you're Inez Ramirez Perez, the woman who performed her own C-section and survived. If it wasn't already clear, don't try this at home. But before we get started, make sure you've clicked that subscribe button so you too can be a part of FAK'D TV at FindAKidneyDonor.com. Stay tuned to the end of the video for a very special message. It was the year 2000. The Summer Olympics forced the world to care about who will win the mixed doubles badminton title. The Sims showed us how irresponsible we are with money, and on March the 5th, Inez Perez went into labor in rural Mexico. A mother of 6 other children, this wasn't anything new to her. That is, until she reached her 12th hour of excruciating labor. Fear had started to set in for Inez due to her last pregnancy, where she sadly lost her child due to an obstructed delivery. She would need help, soon. Unfortunately, she had no phone. The nearest medical facility was 50 miles away from her isolated one-room cabin, and her husband, who helped with each of the previous live births, was away at a cantina. It was just Inez and her young children all alone. She literally had to take matters into her own hands if she was going to save her baby. I couldn't stand the pain anymore, she later told a reporter, and if my baby was going to die, then I decided I would have to die too. But if he was going to grow up, I was going to see him grow up, and I was going to be with my child. So with no previous medical experience and acting only on intuition, Inez set to the grueling and visceral task of performing a C-section on herself. She began by taking several swigs from a bottle of hard liquor in a token effort to dull the pain before grabbing a kitchen knife with a 6-inch blade and pressing it to her stomach. Now, according to House MD and every other medical show ever, a typical C-section is a single incision across the bikini line. However, Inez was only able to rely on her knowledge of butchering animals and made several large incisions all over her abdomen. In her own words, "I put the knife in here, then pulled it up," she said, pointing to her lower abdomen. "Once wasn't enough, I did it again. I was crying and screaming in terrible pain. Then I cut open my womb and pulled my baby out by his feet. He cried straight away." Yep, that's right. This woman stabbed herself several times while hammered, squatting in pain, or while babysitting her children. So the next time I cry from a splinter, I'll simply take my band-aid and shut up. Overall, Inez completed her DIY surgery in just over an hour and made it all the way to cutting the umbilical cord with a pair of scissors before passing out. When she regained consciousness, she bandaged her wound as best she could with a sweater and sent her 6-year-old to ask for help in town. The young boy was able to find a local health aide, who walked in on a disemboweled woman calmly nursing her newborn child. Thankfully, the aide was able to reposition her bowel loops before suturing her multiple wounds with an ordinary sewing kit and calling for a ride to a hospital 8 hours away. To the utmost amazement of all surgeons and obstetricians that looked over her, Inez's self-administered surgery had resulted in no internal bleeding and no sepsis, and her uterus was behaving almost exactly as it would have been after an ordinary delivery. Everybody was so amazed that they had the young mother's story published in the International Journal of Gynecology and Obstetrics. To this day, Inez Perez is recognized as the only person to have ever performed a cesarean section on herself where both the mother and the baby survived. Inez has since made a full recovery, and her new son, and the whole family are living happily and healthily. As for the knife, she still uses it to this day to cut up fruit and vegetables. And that's it for the story of the woman who performed her own cesarean section. What do you think you would do if you were in Inez's position? Are there any incredible medical accomplishments that you've seen? Let us know in the comments below. We respond to every single one. Thank you for staying to the end for a very special message from FindAKidneyDonor.com. This is Barb Lundberg, a 67-year-old wife and current kidney failure patient in southern Pennsylvania. We use our YouTube platform to spread awareness of incredible people in need of life-saving kidney donations. If you're interested in saving this amazing family, please email us at the address below. Barb is registered at the Johns Hopkins in Maryland and is in need of a life-saving donor with type A or O blood type.